And we're back with part 2 of week 3's edition of DMC in the Morning at Night podcast. This is your host, Ian McElroy, also known as Ricky Williams, drug dealer, bringing you the latest on discussion points, things like that. You know, I got a couple more segments I wanted to do that I didn't quite have time to fit into the first one. I just want to kick it off. You know, one thing I wanted to talk about this week, after having Stephon Diggs leave 37.3 points on the bench for me, putting up big numbers with his backup quarterback. Honestly, didn't think that Case Keenum was going to be able to throw the rock like that, let alone touchdowns and yards and things of that nature. With Sam Bradford being out, I decided to bench him, put Gillislee, newly acquired, also recently traded, into my flex position, moving Jarvis Landry up to wide receiver 2, going with Doug Baldwin as my number one guy. But it didn't work out for me, guys. You know, leaving points on the bench, and that's really the first thing I want to talk about. You can't really beat yourself up, man. You can't. You know, it's fantasy football. Sometimes it happens. You know, I know you get frustrated, but you look at me. I left, like I said, 37.3 points on the bench. Not something I want to do every week. If we go down Andy's roster, I mean, you look at Charles Clay, 15 points. He played Martellus Bennett, 4.2 points. He left a couple points there on the bench. And you move on to Corey and Tyler's matchup. Kenny Britt, 14 points on the bench. Kyle Rudolph only gave him 1.4. You go over to Tyler's side, Pierre Garçon, 21.2 points on the bench. And, look at Danny Amendola, who he just got for me, put up 7.8. Liz and Zeke, Brandon Cooks had 32.1 points on the bench for Liz. That's not something you want to do every week. Andy Dalton, 19.8 points, only 4 points difference from what Carson Wentz did. Not something crazy that you're going to want to, get all butthurt over. Going on to Ike and Dom's game, Dom really made the right plays, honestly. Ike left 28 points on the bench. Cam Newton only gave him 7.6, so that game's not as bad if you're Dom. He likes that game. But that's also why he's going to win. And then Belichick yourself and Martavis Rehab Tour, Belly still has a lot of people left to play. I can't really speculate on that. But I can look at Russell Wilson and the Ben Roethlisberger switch. Not something that you normally want to make, but big Russie, young Russie, putting up 40 points today. Last but not least, we got Matty Klinger hanging with Hernandez and rolling up Ingram. You look at those, you see DeMarco Murray, 19 points on the bench. Marcus Mariota, 23 points on the bench. And you look at Carson gave him 13.2 and Jay Cutler gave him 12, so you could interchange there. Rolling up Ingram. Nothing really can be said about him. He made all the right plays. So, you can't really knock him there. And this kind of segues into my second topic that I'm going to get to right after we come back. Again, you're with DMC in the morning. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the rest of the rundown for tonight. And we're back. DMC in the Morning at Night edition brought to you by Ian McElroy. Today's episode actually brought to you by Doug Baldwin, Dougie B Fresh. Get in where you fit in. Back to the show. Hey guys, what's up? It's Ian again. This is something I kind of want to get into a little bit more. It's going to be better when I have somebody to actually talk to next to me. But, I already did a call-in. So, oh, wow, Derek Carr throwing another pick. Second pick of the game. Anyway, but like I said, it's going to be a lot better when I have somebody to talk to. I want to have more of, discussions. I want to do a part 1 rundown. Maybe get a call-in guest, talk to them about their team for a couple minutes. And then I want to get, some discussion going because I think that's going to help our league. Discussion, it's going to make us better fantasy football players as a whole. But like I was talking about with, leaving points on the bench, I know me personally, I like to poll people when I'm going to play some players who I may be on the fence about. Which brings me to today. I asked Tyler earlier today, I can't, at the end of the day, I put my team on the field, I made my lineup, so I can't blame Tyler, but I did ask him for a little bit of advice, and we kind of had the same thinking, without Bradford, Stephon Diggs doesn't have a good day. You saw him last week put up, I think it was like 8 points. Nothing crazy, nothing to write home about. So, why not pop Gillislee? And, he's second in the league in touchdowns. Put him in the flex. Newly acquired Doug Baldwin moving into the lineup. And, keep Jarvis Landry in there. Little did I know, obviously, like I said, in the last portion, 37.3 points on the bench. So, at what point do you listen to people in your same league about playing players? Just kind of interested in some of your thoughts. Obviously, we're not going to be able to discuss that now. We could talk at a later date, whatever. But do you think it's okay to ask people in the same league that you're not playing that week questions about your lineup? Do you think that that's taboo? Do you guys do it? What's the deal with that? I mean, obviously, I do it. I've asked people things, and I also ask people who have nothing to do with my league for advice. So I mean, it's walking a fine line who you're going to ask, who you're going to talk to, who you're going to pick. Last but not least, of part 2 for tonight, before I hang up and I just watch this the rest of the second quarter end game of Washington and Oakland. Fat Rob, the big run. Oh wait, no, that's not. That is Perrine. Anyway, part 3 of part 2 for tonight's show. You're looking at the Collusion Corner. Dun-na-na, dun-na-na. Collusion Corner brought to you by Doug Baldwin's 20-plus point game. Hey guys, we're here in the Collusion Corner. Really only one thing. There was an interesting comment made in a group chat a couple minutes ago by Andy, also known as .sniper, about dumping Zeke. Pretty sure he's a Sixers guy, if I'm not mistaken. He did make a hashtag trust the process. So could he possibly be tanking? I don't know. It's something to look at. Watch for him making any shady trades. This shady trade alert brought to you by the Collusion Corner. And we're back. Just want to give a shout out to Tyler Andy, being good sports. Tyler, for the part 1 call in. I'll hit you back with some standings later in the week. We'll get more regular podcasts. You guys can listen, call in, be a part of it. Send a message in the league, tweet, Twitter, all that happy fun stuff. We'll see you later, ladies and gentlemen.